Hello, hello, hello. What's up? It's Justin, hanging out in the backyard on a Saturday, and I hope you're having a great morning. I just wanted to share this with you because it's kind of it's been on my heart, and I thought maybe you'd like to hear it too. Good morning, Joyce. How are you? Good to see you. I We just got done. Lizzie and I did a workout. Feeling good. Feeling real good. And good morning, Alex. It's all good. Hey, Sherry, how's it going? As far as I'm concerned, this is the best way for us to honor those lost on 9/11. And I read this. I don't know who originally posted it, but I did share it, and I thought that I'd go a little bit deeper with you and dive a little bit deeper with you if I could. Um, do you remember what it was like? Oftentimes, I think we talk about it. I talked about this on my radio program yesterday, but I think we talk about, do you remember where you were? Do you remember what you were doing on September 11th? I remember every bit of that day. It was a wild day. I was working in radio in Cincinnati, and it was a very strange day watching the news, being a part of getting the news out. Um, Always kind of having to make sure I was plugged in to watch the news, to be a part of it, and to get these updates out to people reporting it. You go into a very it's an adrenaline rush. You go into this whole thing, and we didn't know. There's a lot of uncertainty at the time. There was a lot of uncertainty at the time over what was going to happen next, what was happening right now, in fact. And I remember we took a lunch break, and a friend of mine and we went to lunch, and it was what usually this place was packed was empty. It was empty. And I just remember sitting there feeling kind of numb because, again, we didn't know. There was a lot of uncertainty. We didn't have, is there another aircraft coming? Are we going to get attacked where we are? And where I was in Ohio, close to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So I just remember that day very vividly. But there's something even more important that I remember just as vividly, and I hope you do too. I want you to think back, and if you do, think back to September 12th, the day after the attacks. Things are starting to become a little more clear. We're starting to have a little bit better picture on maybe what happened or why it happened, but also that things are settling down a bit. There's something that's becoming more and more clear, which with each passing moment, it's that we're all in this together. As Americans, we came together in a way that I haven't seen since, in a way that made me very proud to be an American. But it's even bigger than that, because the world came together. As humans, we came together to say, we're not black, we're not white, we're not Hispanic, Asian, we're not any of these different races, genders, ethnicities, cultures. We are one human race. All of the things that since then and very recently have been used to separate us and pull us apart from each other. There's so much division, it seems like nowadays. But we still have the ability to come together like we did on that day. We still have the ability to look at one another, to treat one another with the same respect, the love, the compassion. We still have the ability to build that unity. And matter of fact, if you're watching this right now and you remember September 12th, you remember that time, click share if you can. Share this out with other people. Because it's a conversation that I think on September 11th this year, the kids say, hit a little different this year. It did. It felt different. I saw the memorial last night from New York City and what took place during the day, and it almost didn't happen there this year. It almost didn't occur this year because of the virus, because of political, who knows? I don't. So it really felt different because it was an opportunity for us to take a look back and maybe reflect on some of the things that we've gone through together. In a time where I think there's an effort to divide us. Let's be quite clear. There's an effort to divide us for whatever reason, and it comes from many different places. But I'm not going to get into that as much as I am going to get into. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. What matters is that you and I, that each of us, have the ability to control how we respond in every day, in every situation, and just like today, just like the situation we're in right now. We have the ability to respond. We have the ability to choose unity over division. We have the ability to choose love over hate. We have the ability to choose production over destruction, creation. We see a lot of forces trying to pull us apart, create division, but also create destruction. And I think that now more than ever, it's important for us to come together so that we can create this peace, this unity, and this love with each other. Joyce says we can only be divided if we allow it. It's so true. And yes, Joyce, this is streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I'm all over, but I just wanted to share this with everybody today. It's such an important message because it is September 12th. Today is the anniversary of 19 years later, the day that we all came together and felt that unity. It wasn't just here in America, although I know we felt it here in America. It was all over the world. All over. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate the share, brother. Click share on this if you're watching it. And I want to also tell you, with all the craziness that's happening in the world right now, I want to give you a little bit of encouragement and some hope. With all the craziness that's happening in the world right now, I know it seems, because it's been magnified, that this is the reality, that this is what's happening, and that it's the problem. Well, I want to tell you the solution is even more magnified. You may not be seeing it or hearing as much, but the truth is there are more of us united together than you could ever know. There's way more good happening in the world than they'll ever tell you about. And that's why I started my good newsletter. In fact, if you have not seen it, if you have not read it, I want to make sure that you're able to get in touch, that I'm able to share that good news with you, okay? And it's simply justinbarclay.com/good news. Okay? I'll share it with you. justinbarclay.com/good news. I'll put a link in here, but I'm going to share this kind of stuff. I feel it in my bones, right? I feel like deep down inside that this is what we need now more than ever. This is the kind of stuff that you want to get. By all means, make sure you go on over, put your name in, your email, and I'll send it to you. It's important. And I want to tell you this, like I'm streaming on all these different platforms. With everything that gets taken down and the way social media is these days, make sure that we have a good way for us to connect. Make sure that we have a good way for us to come together, to share these great ideas, these stories. And if you have good news that you'd like to share with me, I'd love to hear from you, especially if it's stories of people coming together, strangers doing things for strangers, sharing the love. That is so amazing. I love to see it. And there are so many great stories like that that are happening on a daily basis every single day, but you don't necessarily hear about them as much. Because in the news media, and this is just how it is, somebody that is part of this, look, if it bleeds, it leads. It's not going to get clicks, they think. It won't get ratings. It won't get shared. It won't get all this attention. That's how they make money. It's a revenue model. It just is what it is. They think that won't happen unless it's negative. Sometimes at the end of the newscast, you get a little piece of good news and they share something. But the truth is, there's so much more good happening in the world. Let's amplify that. Let's magnify it. Joyce says it doesn't support the narrative. I think that's part of it is that they want to keep you afraid. They want to keep you, and I'm not talking about any specific political party here, okay? This is not politics. This is just the reality of the money in the business side of why we see what we see and why we're constantly being divided. Think about when a hurricane comes through. And in hurricane season, when I used to live down in Florida, man, it was crazy. They would start talking about hurricanes like a week or two out when there were tropical storms, when they were out in the Caribbean or whatnot. They would start ramping up the fear and the anxiety. It was tough living down there because you had to think about that all the time. And they would talk about it. This path might come right up and they would talk about where I lived in Tampa. They said, come right up the mouth of Tampa Bay and we're going to get, this is going to happen. And oh my gosh, for like weeks you would think about it. And they would try to get people all fired up and excited about it. So they'd constantly tune in because I got to watch. What's the hurricane doing now? Is it coming towards us? Has it changed paths? Do I need to leave? Do I need to board up my house? Do I need to? So they know that built in, we have this natural need to know what's happening and going on at all times. And so we check the news in the morning because we want to make sure we're safe. This is natural. This is how we're wired as human beings, to check our surroundings and find out, is this something I need to be concerned about? Is there something that I need to watch here? Is there something that I need to know about all the threats and the risks? So they work with that. They prey on that. So I don't think there's any better way to put this. I want to make sure you have information so that you can be informed, but I take it a step further. And that's what I do with the Good Newsletter too, is I want you to be informed and empowered. Yeah, I want you to know what's going on. I don't want you to put your head in the sand like the ostrich, right? Have the full picture. The full picture includes the good. With each piece of the bad, there's also some good. You need to know about that to truly be empowered. I love you, Alex. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Yes, Joyce, this is something that has been going on for a long time. It sure is. Kale, good to see you. Appreciate you jumping on. No matter where you're watching this, make sure you click send. Make sure you share it with people. And if you want more good news, going over to justinbarclay.com/good news. I put a link in the comments too so you can get it. But justinbarclay.com/good news. So I don't know what you're up to today, but I'm about to go have lunch with a buddy of mine, with a friend. And I'm just excited because I do believe we get to choose our own path. I do believe we get to make our own way, and I do believe we get to decide whether we're going to have a good day or not. And I know that I'm not just going to have a good day. I'm going to have a great day. And I hope you do the same. Make it a good one. Don't just have a great day. Make it a great day. I love you, and I appreciate you. God bless, and I look forward to talking to you soon, and I'll see you in my email, okay? Bye-bye.